Welcome to Dank Dark, the High Horror Geek Show, where horror gets high and geek culture takes a twisted turn. I'm your boy, Brian Brown, coming at you from the dailydank.com. Today we've got something truly special lined up. We're diving into a hidden corner of horror history that haunted your house and wrecked your phone bill if you were a kid in the 90s. I'm talking about the creepiest, weirdest, and wildest 1-900 numbers ever made. Stick around as I share some of my own curious kid adventures dialing these haunted hotlines, along with some of the most notorious and chilling examples from back in the day. Trust me, you're going to want to hear about the Freddy Krueger line, the Santa Hotline with a dark twist, and much more. So buckle up and get ready to relive the golden era of creepy calls and gimmicky horror marketing. Let's get into it. All right, my fellow stoner sleuths and horror heads, before we dive into the freaky phone calls that haunted our childhoods, let's break down exactly what 1-900 numbers were. For those of you who missed out on the beautiful, terrifying chaos that was the 1990s phone line hustle. Picture this, you're sitting cross-legged on the shag carpet watching Are You Afraid of the Dark when a commercial comes on, low lighting, spooky music, and a gravelly voice whispering, "Call now, if you dare," boom. You're locked in. 1-900 numbers were premium rate phone lines that charged you by the minute. Usually $3 for the first minute, then 99 cents each additional minute. But what they were really selling wasn't time, it was experience. These numbers let you tap into something forbidden. You could talk to your favorite horror villain, hear ghost stories too scary for TV, get cursed by a psychic who sounded like she smoked 2 packs a day and lived in the back of a haunted trailer. And let me tell you, these things were everywhere. TV commercials sandwiched between Saturday morning cartoons, full-page ads in the back of Fangoria, Mad Magazine, even WWE programs. Comic books had them too, tucked between the X-ray glasses and sea monkeys like cursed little Easter eggs for the brave and broke. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Kids like us had zero clue how money worked. I thought long distance was something astronauts used. I wasn't thinking about phone bills. I was thinking, what if Freddy tells me my name? And just like that, you're 6 minutes deep into a call where Freddy Krueger is giving life advice between murder threats. Then the bill hits the kitchen table, and boom, your parents are yelling about some mystery charge that looks like you signed up for demon therapy. Totally worth it. These lines were basically the 1990s version of creepypasta, except they cost your parents $30 and gave you nightmares. So now that you know the dark magic behind the 1-900 phenomenon, get ready, because we're about to walk you through the most cursed, cringy, and straight-up unholy horror hotlines that ever hit a landline. Some were legends. Some were scams. Some were probably illegal. But all of them, Dank and Dark certified terrifying.
Are you ready to elevate your cannabis experience? Welcome to the dailydank.com, your ultimate destination for everything weed, laughs, and good vibes. We're more than just a website. We're a community. A place where cannabis lovers come together to share, learn, and have a blast. Whether you're tuning in for the wild and hilarious 420 Somewhere podcast, getting your game face on during one of our epic game night live sessions, or waking up to the Wakey Bakey morning show for your daily dose of fun, we've got something for everyone. Dive into our exclusive podcasts, from the spooky to the weird to the downright hilarious. We've got a show for every kind of stoner. We're not just about listening. We want you to join in. Our online meetups and community events give you a chance to connect with fellow dank heads and dive deep into everything cannabis culture. And hey, if you're looking for your people, you've finally found them. The Daily Dank is your home for all things stoner culture, crazy theories, and a whole lot of fun. Join the family today at thedailydank.com. This is more than just a website, it's a lifestyle. That's thedailydank.com.
All right, folks, now let's dive into the part you've all been waiting for, the creepiest 1-900 numbers of the 90s. These are the hotlines that gave you the chills and maybe a little something extra to explain to your parents when the phone bill arrived. First up, the one and only Freddy Krueger's 1-900 number. Voiced by Robert Englund himself, this line was pure nightmare fuel. Imagine picking up the phone to hear Freddy whispering ominous threats and giving out nightmare tips. Yep, that's right. You'd get gems like, "I'm going to gut you like a fish if you hang up on me." Classic Freddy. Totally traumatized a generation, but man, was it horror marketing gold. Next, we have the deceitfully innocent Santa Hotline. Seemed harmless enough, right? Kids could dial in to leave a message for Santa Claus. But here's the twist. Many parents reported that Santa's voice would glitch out and go all robotic at night, saying things like, "He sees you when you're sleeping," in a way that was anything but cheerful. There were even cases where Santa's voice changed halfway through the call. Talk about a stocking full of nightmares. Then there was the G.L.O.W wrestling hotline. Now, this one wasn't particularly scary, unless you count the fear of explaining to your mom why she's getting charged ridiculous amounts to hear women wrestle. Marketed to teens, but priced like an adult luxury service, it was the kind of thing that could get you grounded for life. And here's the kicker. They'd actually reuse match commentary, so if you called too often, you'd start to realize you were getting scammed. Moving on to the cursed doll number, often found buried in the back of old horror comic books. The call would always start slow, like a cozy bedtime story, but before long, it would twist into full-blown child's play madness. Some kids even claimed the doll would talk back during the call. It was probably just clever audio loops, but at 10 years old, that stuff was real. Now let's talk about the Psychic Friends Network, fronted by none other than Dionne Warwick. This line wasn't intended to scare you. It was a genuine psychic service, but the low-budget graphics and eerie voices gave it some serious creepy vibes. And then there were the urban legends. People swore they got cursed messages like, "He's closer than you think." It was supposed to be all about predicting your future, but sometimes it felt like they were predicting your doom. Last, but certainly not least, the Unsolved Mysteries Tip Line. This one was designed for people to call in tips about real-life mysteries, but the recordings were super eerie. Grainy, static, cold, robotic instructions. It felt like you were making contact with some shadowy underworld. Urban myths even suggested that some people who left tips disappeared. Spooky stuff, right? So there you have it, a parade of the creepiest, most bizarre 1-900 numbers from the 90s. If you were around back then, maybe this trip down memory lane brought up a few chills. And if you weren't, well, now you know what kind of analog horrors you missed out on. Stay tuned because we're just getting warmed up. We'll be digging into some real-life reactions and urban legends surrounding these haunted hotlines next. Don't go anywhere. It's going to get even creepier. All right, y'all, let me take a little detour and tell you about the time I nearly didn't survive a 1-900 number-related incident. Not because of ghosts or demon, but because of my mom. So here's the scene. It's a cold December night. Little Brian is high on cocoa and curiosity. I sneak off with the cordless phone, you know, the one with the pull-out antenna and the battery that lasted 12 minutes, and I dial the number I saw during cartoons, the Santa Hotline. I'm expecting a ho-ho-ho, maybe a list update. Instead, this weird robotic voice comes on and says, "Santa can't talk right now, but he's watching." Bro, watching That was it. I hung up like the phone was cursed. Legit thought I just invited Krampus into my living room. But wait, your boy wasn't done. I had recently discovered something truly life-changing, the G.L.O.W Hotline. That's right, gorgeous ladies of wrestling. All the ads said you could hear about new matches and maybe even get a message from your favorite wrestlers. But what it really was just a lo-fi audio thirst trap for awkward preteens. Now fast forward a few weeks, and here comes the phone bill. I'm in the living room trying to watch TV when I hear my mom let out this blood-curdling scream from the kitchen. I legit thought Freddy had shown up. She storms in, flapping the bill around like she's got a scroll from hell. What the hell is this? $34.75 to talk to Santa? And what's this, lady wrestlers? What the hell is a G.L.O.W? I'm sitting there sweating like I just smoked a whole eighth in the middle of a church. Trying to play dumb, trying not to laugh. Mom is yelling and going on like I ordered a high-end escort from Vegas. And here's the kicker. I had also called the Freddy Krueger 1-900 number, but somehow I didn't get caught for that one. So while she's yelling about Santa and sweaty wrestlers, I'm just sitting there thinking, if she finds out Freddy called me back, I'm grounded until Y2K. To this day, I swear that phone bill haunts my mom more than any horror movie ever could. Moral of the story, 1-900 numbers were scarier than any slasher film, and they charged by the minute to ruin your life.
Welcome to the Healing Center, located at 1400 Needles Highway in the heart of Needles, California, right off the iconic Route 66 and just a stone's throw from the breathtaking Colorado River. But that's not all. Prepare yourself for the ninth wonder of the world, the legendary Wall of Flower. With over 60 brands and strains of top-tier cannabis, you'll be in flower paradise. At the Healing Center, we don't just have the best selection, we offer the lowest prices around. We're proud to be known as the #1 cannabis superstore in all the land, offering the best service, the best deals, and a shopping experience like no other. So, why wait? Come check out the world-famous Healing Center for yourself and see what all the buzz is about. For the latest scoop and hottest deals, head over to thedailydank.com and stay in the know. The Healing Center, where quality meets affordability. Your cannabis journey starts here.
All right, folks, now that we walked down memory lane with some of the creepiest 1-900 numbers of the 90s, let's dive into the real-life reactions and urban legends that surrounded these haunted hotlines. All right, so back in the day, calling these lines wasn't just about the experience. It was also about the aftermath, the stories and rumors that erupted like wildfire among us curious kids. Trust me, the drama was as compelling as an episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Remember Freddy Krueger's 1-900 number? Kids were having nightmares for weeks after calling it. I mean, can you blame them? Imagine hearing Freddy's sinister voice sneaking into your dreams after you hang up. And let's not forget the urban legends about some of these lines calling you back. Yep, that's right. You'd hear stories about kids picking up the phone, and instead of mom or dad, it would be Freddy or some other horror icon whispering your fate. Could it have been clever marketing? Maybe. But as kids, we bought it hook, line, and sinker. It was straight up nightmare fuel. And then there were the stories of hearing your name whispered at the end of the call. Real or not, you can bet kids were spooking each other out, repeating these tales like they were gospel. Did you hear? Tommy called the cursed doll number, and at the end, it said his name. Even writing this now is giving me chills. Oh, and we can't forget the tales about numbers that only worked at midnight. Urban legends would have you believe that dialing at the witching hour unlocked some extra sinister content, like hidden messages or cursed blessings. Were they real? Who knows? but it became a rite of passage to dare your buddies to call at midnight and see who had the guts to do it. Spoiler, it usually ended with a lot of screaming and someone getting grounded. So, were these stories real or just brilliant marketing stunts? Honestly, who cares? The mystery made everything scarier and more exciting. It was a different kind of analog fear, woven into the very fabric of our 90s nostalgia. And that's what made it unforgettable. All right, stoner sleuths and horror geeks, that's your dose of 1-900 number lore and the freaky aftermath. But don't hang up just yet. We got more in store. Up next, we'll be lighting up and reviewing this week's cannabis strain Ghost OG to perfectly cap off our creepy throwback. Stay tuned and keep listening to Dank Dark, the High Horror Geek Show. All right, folks, it's time to transition from nostalgic nightmares to something that'll chill you out just right as you reflect on all those haunted hotlines. This week, we're rolling up and diving into our cannabis strain review with a focus on Ghost OG. Perfectly named for this episode, right? Ghost OG is an indica-dominant hybrid that's been haunting our stash jars for a while now, and for good reason. When you toke on this, the flavors that greet you are earthy and citrusy with a subtle pine twist. It's like taking a walk through a haunted forest, but, less terrifying and more relaxing. The effects? Oh, they're just what the horror doctor ordered. You're looking at a mix of relaxation and slight euphoria, making it the ideal strain for when you're chilling and reminiscing about scary 1-900 numbers from the 90s. Or, let's be real, for when you're just in the mood to trip over some old trauma from childhood hotline calls. When it comes to rating this ghostly gem, I'm giving Ghost OG a solid 8.5 out of 10 glowing rotary phones. Smooth enough to calm your nerves and strong enough to get you into that creepy nostalgia zone. So, if you're planning a night of horror nostalgia, make sure you've got some Ghost OG on hand. It's the kind of strain that's going to enhance your spooky vibe without sending you running for the hills. That brings us to the end of our cannabis review for this week. Up next, we'll be wrapping things up with a few little tales from the dank side and some final thoughts. All right, stoner sleuths and horror geeks, we've had an epic trip through the creepiest corners of 90s 1-900 numbers, shared some laughs, and even channeled some old school fear. Now, I want to hear from you. If you've ever dialed a spooky 1-900 number or had a horror moment with a haunted hotline, drop your stories over at thedailydank.com. I'm dying to know what kind of chills you experienced back then. And hey, don't forget to check out our Tales from the Dank Side horror shorts on TikTok for your daily dose of terror. As always, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with your horror homies. Spread the chills and keep the spooky spirit alive. This has been Brian Brown, your high horror guide, signing off. Until next time, hang up the phone, unplug the landline, and keep it creepy. Stay high, stay haunted, and stay dank and dark.